Astrological forecast for December 2025 for representatives of the sign of Leo. December 2025 for you is a time when you will feel strong and brave in your self-expression, in your self-presentation. The majority of astrological events in December will affect the 5th house of your horoscope, and this is the field of creative flight, the sector of feelings, emotions, emotional states. This is the house of our creativity, our hobbies, and also our feelings, our being in love. And also this sector symbolizes our children. And despite being busy with current affairs and worries, this month you will want drive. You will want bright impressions, adventures. You will want to show yourself off, put on a beautiful bright dress, visit the theater or some festive event. You will want to flirt. Even if you are in a stable and prosperous relationship and do not plan to change anything in this area, you will want the feeling that I am liked by other people. It will be important for you to see that eyes are turned towards you, that you are admired, that you are liked. Nevertheless, some complex issue, some task this month can become a restraining factor for you, a factor that cools the ardor. This can be especially evident around December 9th, as well as from the 20th to the 24th. In general, December 2025, for you, and especially some dates, which we will also talk about, is a time that will test the level of your satisfaction with your own life and with yourself. And here, there will be a direct connection between how satisfied you are with yourself and what encouragements and benefits come into your hands from the outside. A good sign for you will be if this month you receive a promotion on your career ladder, either through the next step in the hierarchy, through granting you a higher position, or through an increase in your salary level. Some astrological events in December will form circumstances that will force us, figuratively speaking, to take off our rose-colored glasses and look at reality. Yes, usually in December we somehow sum up the results of the year, but in this December we may do it more harshly, without softening the objective events and their outcomes. And such a strict audit, self-audit, will become a stimulus for action for you. The Black Moon Lilith. The projection of the demon tempter in our horoscope changes sign precisely in December, and for 9 months moves into your 5th astro field, where it will form such emotionally responsive plots for you. For 9 months, the Black Moon will spend for you in the sector of the horoscope that symbolizes games, hobbies, romance, being in love, and our emotions. Its cunning and gambling energy must be consciously directed. Then it will help you create a masterpiece in your life, whatever it may concern. Otherwise, if you let this situation take its own course, the Black Moon will introduce distortions into our affairs and plans and give us a desire for empty entertainment, for wasting time on games, or it will distort our emotions. At the end of December, the harmonizing Venus will move into the sector of your horoscope that symbolizes everyday life and the conditions of our employment, our workload. And the load during this period will become significantly less, or it will not be felt as a heavy burden. However, given the tense aspects of Venus, this can give rise to a little worm, such a thought, when we think that we are putting in a lot of effort to please people close to us. But who is putting in as much effort to please us? On the final day of 2025, the planet Mars will be in aspects of luck in relation to the karmic lunar nodes, which will repeatedly enhance the power of our kind words, intentions, and wishes. Moreover, both in relation to ourselves and in relation to people close to us. Let's discuss in detail the most important astrological events of the month and their influence on your sign step by step. On December 4th, a full moon occurs in the sign of Gemini in your 11th house of the horoscope. The full moon is completion, culmination, and the 11th house is the house of society. Therefore, there may be some bright event that is connected with your interaction with a group of people. Or it could be a bright event in a team, for example, a joint meeting or someone's birthday, anniversary, wedding, some kind of banquet. This could also be the end of your participation in some group. For example, when we finish a course of study, we part with the group of which we were a part, with the people with whom we studied together. This could also be a period when the preparatory stage for the start of the implementation of some of your programs, projects via the internet or through social networks, will be completed. Also, this time, since the 11th house is the house of results, is a time when you will receive those results that you have been expecting for a long time, and which, as it already seemed to you, you would not wait for. But this is a time when you will receive results, apparently results as the fruits of your efforts, whatever it may concern specifically. Also, this is a time when some important event or important conversation with your friend, acquaintance may take place, especially if this person was born under the zodiac sign of Gemini. Also, there may be an important event here related to the affairs of your brother or sister. And also the 11th house is the house of lovers. Therefore, this is a time when you can expect a bright, culminating event in the sector of personal life. For some, this may become a period when you meet someone through the internet. On December 5th, a very interesting astrological aspect will form in the starry sky. On this day, the sun will be located exactly between the karmic lunar nodes, which will affect your 2nd, 5th, and 8th astro fields. This day is such a midpoint between events that took place around September 10, 2025, and those events that will take place around February 27, 2026. And events or some decisions that you may make throughout this day may be related to two main themes: the theme of personal life and issues concerning finances. That is, now you, on the one hand, are receiving results from those investments of yours, emotional or financial, that took place around September 10th, and thereby you are laying the foundation for future successes that you will receive as results at the end of February 2026. December 6th and 7th are days that will pass under the influence of an aspect of luck between the planet Mercury in relation to the planets Jupiter and Saturn, which will affect your 4th, 8th, and 12th astro fields. These are days of successful events and a fortunate confluence of circumstances. These days can bring you income related to some matter from your past. Also, a successful purchase, deal, conclusion of some agreement beneficial to you may take place here. These could also be purchases for your home. For your everyday life, your family, there could also be good news that is related to the affairs of one of your close relatives. On December 9th, the planet Mars will be in a tense aspect in a square in relation to the planet Saturn, which will affect your 5th and 8th astro fields. This is a day when you may encounter some obstacles or factors that limit you, both in the literal and figurative sense. You may encounter the fact that someone or something is cooling your ardor. For example, when you feel that you want to have some fun, you want adventures, but your responsibilities, some sense of responsibility, do not allow it here and now. This could simply be your understanding that any excitement or risk in different manifestations, both as material and emotional risk, is, figuratively speaking, beyond your means right now. This is a day when you should not make an effort to fight against something that cannot be moved from your path right now. On this day, you need to show patience. On December 11th, the planet Venus, the source of joy and earthly pleasures, will be located between the karmic lunar nodes. This is a very interesting, such a testing day, a test of the level of your satisfaction with yourself and your life. This is a day when you may wonder, does your work, your professional activity allow you to lead the lifestyle that you want to lead? Are there enough joyful and festive days in your life? And the events of this day, its emotional fullness, its mood, the events of this day and its aftertaste will give you answers to these questions. Also, this day can bring an important turning event related to personal life. Also, there can be important and positive events in the affairs of your children here. On December 12th, the planet Mercury moves into the space of the sign Sagittarius, into your 5th house of the horoscope. The 5th house is the sector that symbolizes joys, holidays, hobbies, and also our children. And Mercury is the planet that symbolizes our thoughts, our logic, and also short trips. And this transit of Mercury through your 5th house of the horoscope will add optimism to you. You will want, despite being busy with affairs, to find time to do what gives you pleasure. Also, some meeting or short trip, a joint visit to some interesting and bright place together with people who are emotionally close to you may take place here. These could be your close friends, your partner in personal life, or your children. On December 14th, on this day, the planet Mars, the source of strength, energy, and actions, will be in a tense aspect in a square in relation to the planet Neptune, which in your horoscope will affect the 5th and 8th astro fields. This is a day that can give a feeling of moving in a fog, some kind of obscurity. On this day, unaccounted factors may surface, factors both emotional and material. There may be some unforeseen expenses here, so on this day in general, it is not worth planning to solve any important and responsible issues for you. You should not try to clarify some situation. It might be difficult right now. On December 15th, the planet Mars, the source of strength, energy, motivation, moves into the space of the sign Capricorn, into your 6th house of the horoscope. And for you, a very active and active time begins. Since Mars is movement, it is strength, and the 6th house is the space in which we live and work. This sector symbolizes our daily employment, our routine, our rhythm and lifestyle. And Mars in Capricorn shows us activity, but not chaotic, but clearly planned. Therefore, it is very favorable for you now to make specific step-by-step plans for each period, for the day, for the week. That is, to plan everything, and then you will be able to achieve the best results. Moreover, planning can relate to anything, both to the work schedule and rhythm, and to household chores, and to the schedule of your sports activities and your nutrition. The period from December 17th to 21st is a time when the Sun will be in tense aspects in relation to the planets Saturn and Neptune. And for all zodiac signs, this is the time for summing up the results of the year. Moreover, in this case, given the tense aspects in relation to Saturn and Neptune, we can sum up these results quite soberly and harshly. We will literally have to take off our rose-colored glasses and look the truth in the eye. This is a time of such undisguised truth. Moreover, this can relate both to the financial, material sphere, and to the sphere of feelings, emotions, and relationships. On December 20th, the Black Moon Lilith. The projection of the demon tempter in our horoscope changes sign, and for 9 months moves into the space of your 5th astro field, the transit of the Black Moon. It shows us that sphere of life where we are awaited by illusions, mirages, the possibility of making mistakes. And at the same time, this sphere is the point of attraction for our attention. This is what is interesting to us. This is what we are involved emotionally and mentally. In detail about what this transit of the Black Moon will bring to each of the zodiac signs, what traps and temptations may be here, and how to use this energy of the Black Moon for your own benefit. I will make a separate video about this. And on the same day, December 20th, a new moon occurs in the sign Sagittarius in your 5th house of the horoscope. The new moon is the birth of new energy. It brings something new into our life and our affairs. The 5th house, in which the new moon occurs for your sign, is again the sector of joy, celebration, hobbies, being infatuated with someone or something. And this is a time when you will have a new topic for reflection or a new plan of action that will inspire you. For some, this is the issue of preparing for the New Year holidays, when we prepare gifts and surprises for members of our family and our friends. For some, this is a time that will please you in matters of personal life, like a new acquaintance, a romantic date, some pleasant surprises from your partner, or flirting with a person who is interesting to you. That is, this is a time when something will appear in your thoughts and in your affairs that will captivate and inspire you. Also, the 5th house symbolizes our children, and this is a time when new plans will appear in the affairs of your children, possibly joint ones. This may be related to preparation for a joint trip or to some creative hobbies of your children. Be that as it may, the new moon in the 5th house adds notes of optimism to our affairs, our thoughts, and our feelings. On December 21st, the Sun moves into the space of the sign Capricorn. This happens on December 21st at 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time. This is an important control point of the year. It is one of the 4 power points of the year. This is the day of the winter solstice. On this day, from an astronomical point of view, winter begins in the northern hemisphere. This is the day of the birth of the new sun. And on this day, or rather on this evening, it is important to mentally greet the birth of the new sun. This is a day when it is worth finding time to think about your plans, about your goals for 2026. Since it is on this day that we sow those seeds that at the end of March 2026 will give sprouts, give us the impulse and the necessary conditions for the realization of our intentions. In the period from December 20th to 24th, the planet Venus, the source of joy and earthly blessings, will be in tense aspects in relation to the planets Saturn and Neptune. And this is a time when it is worth consciously limiting yourself in expenses, in spending. Since now you will want to please everyone, both close people and yourself, to please with some gifts, expenses, but this may not always be rational. You need to remember that the holidays will pass, but the feeling that you have overspent your budget, this feeling can persist for some time. Also, during this period, such a thought, such a worm, may be born that you are really trying to please someone. But the question is, who is trying to please you as well? On December 24th, the planet Venus moves into the space of the sign Capricorn, into your 6th house of the horoscope, the house of everyday life and the conditions in which we work. And a very pleasant time begins, which will have a favorable impact both on your work projects and on relationships within the team. This is a time that will please you with pleasant events at home or pleasant gatherings with your colleagues or old acquaintances. Also, Venus symbolizes matter, symbolizes profit. Therefore, this is a time when you can receive pleasant and useful gifts for you. This is a time when you can receive an increase in your salary or some kind of bonus. On December 30th, the planet Mars will be in a tense aspect in relation to the planet Saturn. And on this day, you may be forced to perform some actions, carry out some errands that may not be a joy to you. Here, some additional, so to speak, overtime tasks may arise. Also, on this day, you may have the thought that everything is not as you imagined, that it turns out that you are taking on a lot of responsibilities that are difficult, quite difficult to fulfill. But nevertheless, this day will help you put your affairs in order. On December 31st, the planet Mars will please us with an aspect of luck in relation to the karmic lunar nodes, which will repeatedly enhance the power of our words, our good intentions and wishes, both for ourselves and for people close to us. Therefore, on this day, you should not skimp on kind words and wishes. And given the position of Mars in your horoscope on this day, wish yourself improvements that are related to your place of residence, living conditions, and also your work. Wish yourself to become more efficient and at the same time to become healthier, to take more care of yourself, of your healthy lifestyle.